Episode 7.
We're back.
Once again, starting off strong with the suggestions. Hit us up with the suggestions,
know what
guys.
you want to do.
Welcome to Settling Scores, the podcast. Talk to us, please. We're starved for attention. We need all the love and comments we can get. We also enjoy hate. It's hilarious.
Tell us who your favourite is. Who you rooting for?
Yeah, actually, that's kind of Who's out of all the people at the table? Who's the one you want to succeed most?
Yeah.
And who do you want to see
And
burnt
why?
at the stake? Maybe we should have one bonus point is like popularity contest. And
Who can win over the most fans?
Yeah, it's like you get 5 points at the end of the season for the most votes.
The Slime Award from like Nickelodeon, the Teen Slime Award.
Teen Choice.
Teen Choice Slime Award.
That'd kind of be like a fun thing to have. Because Brian would just pander to the camera the entire time.
Listen,
We'd have to get him his own camera.
For Nick because he's the underdog. The underdog usually wins. Nick doesn't.
Everyone loves an underdog story.
Yeah, okay, but Nick just keeps losing, so you're basically just rooting for a loser.
I'm coming second, right? Oh, it was really funny because I was like looking at the points the other night.
Wouldn't that be a good boxing movie? And it's like the guy, he never wins, but he always comes second. So he always he gets enough points in the match just to come second, just to get through. And by the end, he just wins just because of the averages.
Yeah. That's how the Formula 1 season, that's always the best Formula 1 season, so just the guys are the most consistent. They might not have the most wins or anything, but they
consistently fourth place every time.
Yeah, they end up getting world champion, even
wow.
though they technically aren't the best driver or whatever. Oh damn, what was I going to say, dude, before? We're talking about...
Drink of the week.
Drink of the week? Right before you talk about
drinking?
boxes. This is Dubliner Irish whiskey. This is the honeycomb edition, and it is...
Smells like a melted honeycomb.
Yeah, it kind of smells like almost maple syrup and honeycomb had a baby. It doesn't taste that good, unfortunately, but it is pretty good.
I'm drinking a hard Delta Scotch, triple distilled. What am I drinking, Nick?
Chisano, the remnants of Chisano.
Remnants of Chisano with lemonade and lemon.
Quite a bit of lemonade.
Nothing happened.
Nothing to see here, guys. Let's do the intro questions. Color combination you haven't tried before.
Haven't tried before. I have a Bant on the way, so I have that.
Oh, yeah.
I have that Super Friends Amaranth Bant deck, so that'll be cool fun. So that's on its way.
I'm excited to see that.
Yeah,
because I think it's going to be one of the things where it's once it gets going, it's going to be very hard to deal with.
That's cool. So Bant's, as I said, that Bant has terrible commander cells. So yeah.
I feel like it has the best commanders.
It really does.
I haven't ever done the red, green, blue, which is just something that the colors line up with what I want to do. They are fun, exciting, dynamic colors. You have
red,
counters,
green, blue.
Bouncers,
like Calamax deck.
Yeah, counters and bouncers on blue. You have the burn spells and the kind of chaos of red.
Yeah.
And then you have the green to ramp and back it up. It's that's a color combo I'm always yeah. That color combination has bad commanders.
That's Calamax.
Yeah.
That's a good deck. If we're going from a Calamax deck to a Calamax spell slinging to is it burnt spell slinging? You do miss the green.
The green, yeah. Yeah.
It's got some really cool stuff in it.
There's definitely some commanders in that color combo where it's just there's a green one that has red-blue hybrid.
Okay.
And it just all the things that it talks about on that card, none of them colors do well. And it's just I don't understand what the value is. Who's your favorite commander in the game, dude?
Wow.
I know that's a big question.
Sprung it on me.
Yeah. It's definitely there's a couple out there. Or let's do this, right? What would be a commander that you'd play more of if you could change or add an ability?
Oh man. There's definitely a few. How are you feeling for it?
I'd love Quain even more.
Yeah.
If he had partner with the turtle.
Okay, yeah. Oh,
because then it would give you 4 colors. You'd have the crazy bunny rabbit and the slow tortoise to tap everything down. I think that'd be a really fun combination. I think it's such a missed opportunity that they didn't have partner together. But yeah, And then favorite commander. Oh, I really like the Joda deck. Just for the chaos, 5 colors,
Yeah.
you can cheat things out. Like it was a lot of fun. But yeah, I don't know. Probably Joda. I think I had just the amount of fun I had with him. Yeah,
Okay.
Joda, Archmage Eternal.
Oh, yep. Cool.
5 color.
Yeah.
You pay one of each. You pay Wooburg to put anything from your hand into play,
Yeah.
so you can just play like big dumb things for 5. Yeah. What about you? What do you got?
I think favorite commander. It was Jared for a while, but like I just think Jared's missing. So I feel like if Jared could be a bit stronger, in terms of just like he doesn't get the Monarch when he comes out, and that just
it slows
the
him
deck
down a
building
lot.
slow, and I've had some trouble with him. But I do like his general feel and his general kind of deck style. How he becomes the Monarch and gives it away, and then he wants it back, type of thing, and he wants to hold on to it.
Yeah.
Like
It's very thematic.
The monarchy. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's definitely
That's,
not the strongest.
That's one of them. I guess that's one of them. Like, what would you add to him then to give him that edge? Because like he's like once Pariah or Pariah Shield's out, and he's protected, he's
strong.
He's insane.
Yeah.
But until that happens,
Yeah.
like he has a lot of weaknesses. Like, what if you built? This is going to sound real dumb, but like, what if you built a bunch of walls into that deck to protect yourself with?
You want to attack as well, so you need the attacking power,
yeah.
and then when you want it, when you want the Monarch,
you want that rogue's passage.
You got to do so many things
to achieve the goals.
No, you just got to do. Yeah, you got to do. So, and you have to do so many things in a Jared deck. You have to build for Monarchy. You got to get it back once you lose it. If you can't attack first, you need to account for that. You kind of. Even though it's not needed, but like you want those cool Monarchy cards.
Yeah,
but
the colors don't line up.
The colors don't line up, and they're expensive in mana. Like a lot of them are 7 or 5 or 6 mana to bring out. So you're wasting a turn on that. You got to protect Jared.
Yeah,
and then you also got to feed him damage. So you need stuff that's going to deal global damage to everyone, like Star of Extinction. But if you don't have Monarch, then that card's effectively just useless because you don't want Jared to die. Because if you have Monarch, he comes back to your hand. If you don't have it, and then you got to bring him down, and that's another turn in which you can't have Monarchy.
So how about this then? What if you had Jared, but it had the text? You can't be the Monarch when Jared enters the field. Give it to somebody else, and you automatically, within 3 turns, you automatically become the Monarch.
I think maybe if he had his stuff to hit on him, or maybe another ability, maybe some sort of activated ability. Something to make him get Monarch a little bit easier, or something to protect himself,
him
maybe.
A bit more. Yeah, okay,
then you have him to
that makes
build for
sense.
protection, build for Monarchy, build for walls, defense, build an army as well. Like
to swing and get it back.
And then you can build a Voltron, but as soon as you lose him,
it's all over.
You have to pay for him to bring him out, and then you got to pay, and then you've got to try to get Monarch back.
I guess like if you stacked your deck with Fogs, Karmies of the False Hope. Anything like that can just prevent all combat damage.
Which
maybe
I have some of that, but remember, as soon as you don't have Monarch,
you need a lot of it. Though.
As soon as you don't have Monarch, those things are useless.
Though they just buy you turns.
You buy you turns,
sense. Yeah. But I get what you're saying. Yeah. I think you're right. I think there is a few downfalls there that could probably be rectified. But in saying that though, I love he does what the story says he does within the card, which is great design ultimately. But yeah, I get you. All right, dude. This week we don't really have a what's new this week. Is there anything you'd like to touch on?
I think we'll get into it from what I've seen. I think last game's night devolved into a
chaos,
anarchy? Absolute chaos, shouting match of chaos,
which was hilarious.
I think we'll talk. We've talked about the last episode about reevaluating our point systems, and I think we'll go into further depths of that now.
Yeah, okay.
Once you establish a point system, and then people are like, hold on a second.
Yeah. Actually, that's very true. That's a great point.
It's better than so always, again, I think the main discussion, I think the main topics being reached this week are fiery passion is always better than just apathy.
Yeah,
having
yeah.
a table that's like,
Yep.
I don't really care points or whatever. Give me whatever. Instead of we're literally shouting match, arguing.
Yeah.
These are my points. I deserve them.
Yeah.
Screw you.
Yeah.
You know.
We have to implement emergency measures to keep everybody happy. We're
also
voting.
invented a veto system now. We're starting to be like the UN, just holding things together.
We're gonna have to draft in a lawyer for next season's games.
Fiery passion is always better than just like a blind apathy towards like a point towards the game, or you just like we're not all here just to kind of sit down and have fun, which we are.
We are having fun by being crazy people.
By being crazily competitive, by arguing, by you know, that's our.
The politics as well. Like, once again, I love the politics so much because, like, it comes down to these things where it's like, yeah, why are you going to kill me? Well, because, you know, you're a threat. But it's like, yeah, but then the points don't matter.
Yeah.
Or it's like,
you're going
to kill me. You're going to kill me just because of the points? What about Brian? Brian's a huge threat. You're going to lose to him anyway. Like, why don't you just waste a bit of time on him rather?
I think I had to coax Brian when I was playing Jared to like kill me last because I was like, he's going to get more points. I'm last place. You want to get last place the most points.
And all that kind of like, it's so much fun, especially when you think back about it and you're like the game could have been way more boring if it had been just going for one particular win or whatever. But it definitely adds extra dynamics. All right. Let's not get too deep into that. We'll definitely talk about it later, which will be great.
This is a funky little dwarf. Not a lot of dwarfs around. Kaladesh dwarf.
Kaladesh, yeah. Back when artifacts, enchantments specifically, vehicles coming onto the thing, crewing. And this girl does it all, Nick. Tell us.
For a red and a white, so she's Boros. Legendary creature, dwarf pilot. Other dwarves you control get +1/+1, which is nice. Other vehicles you control get +1/+1 as long as it's a creature, which is nice. Like a little bonus.
Little bonus to swing through with.
Whenever Depala pilot Exemplar becomes tapped, you may pay X. If you do, reveal the top X cards of your library, put all dwarf and vehicle cards from among them into your hand. Then put the rest of the bottom in your library in a random order. That's a nice little... Oh, give me one sec.
In Boros, when you don't have many card draw options, and you're especially going for an aggro kind of build with the vehicles and stuff, you can swing with her or tap it down to vehicle something, to crew something, and then pay. Say you got fucking 5 mana sitting there that you got a handful of nothing. Then all of a sudden you've got 5, potentially up to 5 other creatures or vehicles into your hand.
Think about cards like Nexus Wood, which so you can declare everything in your deck as being a dwarf. Yeah. Now when you do that ability, you can look at the top anything. X cards and get whatever you want.
Yeah. So there's definitely, this is one of them cards where it's like, on face value, it may seem a little like too specific, but if you're building this deck around her, then she's really helping you do what you want to do with the deck, which is like she becomes a great commander based off that. I think like she probably doesn't have anywhere near as much of a place in the 99 as what she does as a commander herself. So, was it Depala? Definitely Lost Legend of the Week, Depala. She could be a lot of fun. I really hope that we get to see some more vehicle kind of come into play. Cause
we got some new vehicles in Modern Horizons too.
And
then I'm sure again the D&D set will have more dwarves.
Yeah, exactly. So once again, she'll kind of have a little bit more. You don't have to use vehicles at all. You can just have Dwarf Tribal, and she will still work. Shram. There's a couple of great white dwarves as well, which kind of helps out. Okay, Tzu Says. You want to read this one, Nick? Or you want me to get this one?
We'll do underrated.
Whoa, Tzu, buddy.
Oh, Tzu. Oh my God! All right,
come on, don't forget about our Chinese friend. Tzu says, strategy without tactics is the slowest route to victory. Tactics without strategy is the noise before defeat.
God, the Tzu guy really makes me contemplate every time I read him.
So, having an overall strategy of how you want to win is great, but you need tactics to achieve that.
What's the difference between strategy and tactics?
So strategy is like the overall feel for what you're trying to do, and tactics are the paths that you take to actually get it done. So like a good example of this would be like, I'm going to make a battle cruiser deck. That's my strategy to do battle cruiser. But the tactic is to put like Craterhoof Behemoth or Avenger of Zendikar or something like that in, and they're the tactics I'm going to actually use to win. So, like, if you've got a strategy without any tactics, without any, like, game plans, then you have an idea of where you're going, but it's not concise or precise or anything like that. So it's going to be a slow road to victory. And if you have the right kind of win cons without any strategy in place, then it's like you're just putting down fire that's going to not synergize with itself, which isn't going to work together. So, like, when you build a deck, don't just fill it up with $80 cards if they don't work well together, because it's just not going to be optimum for yourself. So basically, tactics without strategy is the noise before defeat. You're just putting out big stuff. It's going to get removed. It's going to get targeted. People are going to think you're a threat even though you don't really know what you're doing. This is, to a degree, Fabian playing like in the early games. Yeah. He was just putting out these... He didn't really understand the full nuances of what he was doing.
So this guy in your trick looks cool. It's like, that's a big thing.
A lot of people use it. Yeah. A lot of people use that thing. Why won't you let me keep it?
What was it? Mimic Protogenitor or something?
Protogenic Hulk?
No. The Mimic guy.
Progenitor Mimic.
Progenitor Mimic.
Yeah,
that's cool. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
They look better in your graveyard.
So, that's a nice little deck building tip for everybody. Sun Tzu. Look at that. That's how advanced he was, Nick.
He was already playing the game before the game was around.
2,500 years ago. Yeah, 2,500 years ago, helping us build decks.
Jeez, what was he doing back then? Who cares?
Playing a lot of Go, I guess. All right, 3 years of success. Underrated.
We have Curfew. Each player chooses a creature he or she controls and returns it to owner's hands.
Now, this is one of them cards where it costs 1. And it's kind of like, okay, they can pick any creature. So, like, you might
pick them a Solemn Simulacrum.
Well, this is the thing. Like late game, this card isn't as of much value as what it is early game.
You could return so they got 3 big creatures out. You return the Faber Elder or whatever, and now you return their other big creature, and then you play this for another mana, and they're forced to return their other big creature back to their hand.
Yeah. That's true. When I look at this, the main time I see this is like turn 2 or turn 3. Everybody, like say Brinzy, for example, he's put down a Mana Dork elf. Fabian's put down his first piece of his cleric combo or whatever like that. Mm-hmm. And then you have played
something.
Jared,
fuck.
And then it all just goes.
I scoop.
And then it all just disappears.
Yeah.
So for 1 mana, you're effectively undoing like potentially 9 mana's worth of work across the board.
It's 3. It's like 3 unsummons if you can play it at the right time.
Yes. Yeah. And it's going to bounce one of yours as well, which you want it to suit the deck you're playing. Like Chilene's a great example of this way. You want to bounce your own stuff so you can get there. Cascade could be good. Yeah, definitely. So this card's she's a sleeper. I barely ever see her get used. Lots of unsummons get played, but there's only 1 creature. So this is a little bit more handy, and it bypasses Shroud and stuff and hexproof because it's any it's targeting the player. So.
And then even bypasses, I think, player Shroud because it's targeting everyone. Well, not targeting, but
each
player.
It's each player. Yeah.
Next we got Undervalued. Nick has
Necrotic Hex. This is one of my favorite black board wipes in the game.
Wow.
Because it not only board wipes, but it gives you a board back immediately. My only downside to this is that it's sorcery, but it kind of has to be.
Yeah.
So it is 6 and a black, so 7 mana total for sorcery. Each player sacrifices 6 creatures. You then put 6 tapped, or 6 2/2 black zombie creatures into play.
So you get 12 power on the board when no one has anything.
Yes. So this is like, I think when a lot of people saw this, they saw 6 as being a limiting factor to how powerful it was. But not very often has anybody got more than 6 good creatures out at any time.
Did you even ever use these? You didn't ever use them. You just sack them for mana, and you sack them for various things.
Oh, for me, my own guys? Yeah. But I mean, like...
sack them for card draw, sack them for mana, did other kind of stuff. It was... so it's like, they're kind of... Yeah, it's really great.
It's double value.
If you're hitting with them, that's kind of like the worst thing that can happen. If you're just going to swing with them...
Yeah. It's still 12 power, though, which is great.
Utilizing all these bodies.
Yes, yeah. And like this, don't see the 6 as a limiting factor for the other people, because like I've never played this and had like big threats left on the board where I'm like, damn it, I wish I could have got rid of that as well. Like I've never played this and thought, oh, I would have rather play a Wrath. Do you know what I mean? Like this has always been enough, and it's replenished my own board. So this is a really great card, and I think like same deal, dude. I think it's like less than $1.50 or something like that.
Okay.
It's expensive to play in terms of the 7 mana, but in Garruk's Wake and everything like that is a lot anyway. So
yeah. So
you
like,
know, it's
not
not a
unprecedented amount.
Yeah. Under $1, Nick.
$1.
I know
what can
you've
really be said about Broken Bond?
I know you have been on the receiving end of this card quite a few times.
I'm just doing it for ramp. I'm just doing this for ramp. Broken Bond, a 1 and a green.
Stop playing Soul Rings. It won't be a big deal.
God. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. You may put a land card from your hand on the battlefield. Amazing card. Under $1.
So Naturalize, I think it is a green 2 cost. Destroy target enchantment or artifact. But that's it. This is doing exactly the same thing, plus giving you ramp.
It's great.
It's an insane card. It's less than $1. I think if you're playing green, there's really no excuse not to have it. Because worst case scenario, late game, you pull it, you're still destroying a thing for 2, which is basically what all your other destroys cost
and it's
anyway.
also just the getaway with it. So like you're taking the Arcane Signet, which is the exact same as taking away a land, and you're putting on a land. So it's kind of like
double value if you're looking at it like that. Yeah. This is a terrific under $1 card. I think it's probably, I don't know, maybe overlooked as a staple, underlooked as a staple. I don't know.
It's under $1, so it's allowed.
Let's move on to our topic, Nick. You touched on this a little bit before. I think the point you raised was super awesome, actually, in relation to this. But this week we talked about, once again, in our little series of cards and coming up to this point. I
hear people on YouTube talking about this. Oh, we got so salty at the table. We're going to really get into it. The words being explained, the profanities.
We really get salty.
Yeah, we don't get like, oh, you talking about this. It's like we really get.
We stop talking.
Yeah.
Let's talk about saltiness, guys, at the table. I think if you are genuinely, unless you are an incredible person, if you're genuinely trying to play the game properly, at some point you're going to get salty. Yeah. And if you can rise above that, then you're a terrific human being. We are not.
We're flawed.
We're incredibly insecure, egotistical.
It's also because, I don't know, there's something about like playing at the table with a sibling that just makes it so much. And like it's like you and Brian's, brother-in-laws, it's the same. It's like much. It just rubs my gears. So if I was playing it at a random, so if I went to a GameStop, I could never imagine like being upset at the table there.
I'd be upset, but I'd not.
I don't display
it as much.
I would never be. I wouldn't be like, oh, you dick. I would never.
Yeah.
Oh, nice, dude.
Fuck your mother. Yeah.
But like, it's so.
We definitely wear it on our sleeves at our table, and it's kind of like it's refreshing in the sense that you can not be judged for it.
Psychologist, and he knows my mind inside out. And he's telling them all these, but he's just being an idiot.
So what we wanted to talk about, I think, first of all, in a healthy way, is how to kind of deal with it and get over it, and how to
I wouldn't say we're toxic about it. We're not outright being upset.
We're not being vindictive about it or conniving about it or anything like that. We do get salty.
It's just like a vocalization of that really sucks. Damn you, dude.
Absolutely.
Like, damn it, that really sucks.
Or like, I can't understand what you're doing or why you're doing it, and I'm really not happy about it because it makes no sense.
Like I want to say at the forefront, being salty has never ruined the night for anyone.
No.
It doesn't diminish the night at all.
I've told Nick before, it's that Larry David thing of like, fuck you, see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like you can't, the next morning we're all like, can't wait to play again. No one leaves angry. Yeah. But there's definitely angry.
No like outright insults or anything like that.
No. I think it's a fun, like once again, it's not a great like character trait. But it's also fun to have at the table in like the sense that it's kind of like, because we know there's no love lost
as well. It's not like we do this with everyone we ever play with.
No. Yeah, that's true as well. So a big thing with becoming salty is getting yourself out of becoming salty, because I don't think there's a problem with being salty. I think there's a problem with, like, if you get screwed in your first game, carrying on for the next 3 hours about it. That's probably not super healthy. So moving on from the saltiness, bouncing back from it, I think is super important.
Deck. I have certified salty decks. I do. So I have my... It's like if I'm getting... especially with the Jared deck, because I just want to be Jared.
Yeah.
And he just keeps getting shut down. Everyone's like, no, you're not getting my life. I was like, damn it. Let me have it to win. Especially when you're like a turn away from winning and no one knows and you just get stomped on and they don't even know. So it's like, you just kill me for no reason.
Yeah. Then Yuriko comes out.
Yeah. So then it's like I switch to a deck in which I have more control. Because I think maybe the saltiness can also come from a loss of control.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're losing control. You can't do what you want to do. So now with Yuriko, I have more control. I have counters. I have removal. You cannot get rid of Yuriko. All I got to play is one shitty card, and I can Yuriko it in Rogue's Passage or Artful Dodge. So play something which gives you a little bit more control. That always kind of, I don't need to say that calms me down, but it kind of, you know.
See, I've done almost not necessarily the opposite, but I built a deck called the Salt Shaker.
Yes.
Because I'm like,
I don't think I've ever felt salty with that deck.
You haven't?
No.
No, because it never works properly.
I never know how you won with a deck full of counters. I wasn't going to say anything, but I think you know. Yeah, what you know.
So the idea is that I kept getting stuff shut down and kept getting stuff removed and stopped, being stopped in my tracks. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to build a deck that does that to everybody else.
Yeah.
So I can, reflect it back at them. And when I get really salty and I've had a shit night of just being ragged upon, I pull it out and then just try and fuck everybody else's game up. And I just think that that's hilarious. And that stops me from being salty immediately. As long as I don't get, land screwed when I start playing it, I'm generally pretty happy after that. Because I'm like, oh, you want to play that? Ooh, what's in it for me? How's it going to make it work for me? So, yeah, try a different deck. Try a deck that perhaps you have a more defined win condition or something along them lines. The other thing is, try and identify what's making you salty at the table. Is it just because... Listen, is it just because you are getting counted all the time? If that's the case...
Then that's not perhaps that's not the kind of salt we describe. That's kind of... Again, it must be come from probably the loss of control. The wanting to do what you want to do and then not being able to do it. You can... and then it can be really hard to politic once you're that salty mindset, being like...
So, but the good thing is, with that though, with being shut down and the loss of control, you can take it back if you build for it.
Yeah. And
that's green has a lot of target spell can't be countered or next creature spell can't be countered. Blue has counters, so just fucking run them. Black's kind of a little out in the dark, and then red has a couple of counters, but so there is ways you can stop certain situations from occurring. The other one that would be kind of prevalent is the people you're playing with, and that comes down to a social contract thing of talk to them if something's making you upset. Time out. We've had it at the table before where people have been like, I don't want to be playing if this is how we're going to play. And at that point it just becomes a communal thing of okay, if that's the case, what do we need to do then to stop that from happening?
We encourage, as of right now, I think we're kind of encouraging the salt in a kind of a tongue-in-cheek type of way.
We definitely encouraged it a lot more last season with points for shafting people and everything like that.
Rough.
This season, the funniest thing is that this season we repealed all of them changes.
This was the season of healing,
and everybody has been like, "Can we put the points back in where we get points for shafting people?" So another fact is once you are salty. Having some kind of reset for yourself, get up, go for a quick walk.
In terms of mitigation, we are constantly laughing and making jokes, so it's very easy to just kind of
very easy to move on.
If you're in a dark and brooding game, then it's going to be difficult to.
I guess that's another thing is if everyone's taking it super seriously and there isn't a lot of joking and that, it's going to be very hard to break away from that. So getting up, getting a drink, excusing yourself for a couple of minutes and just go talk to somebody else.
Constantly, not because I'm salty, just because of a tiny bladder.
So getting up physically from the game can be a nice refresher. I know, like, a lot of time when I can be kind of salty, get up, run down to get you guys some drinks, and then by the time I get back, I'm like, all right, what's happening? What have I missed? You know, the kind of salt kind of disappears. We also have a physical prop that we use called the salt deflector.
It's been used by if you're salty or if you're defending yourself from the salt.
Would you like to model them?
You done them. Oh no, we'll do it in a what do you call it? Health, place, work and safety type of way. So right now I am being salty to Nick. He has countered my cyclonic rift for no reason. I'm verbalizing my saltiness, and now Nick dons the salt deflectors. Now it's hard for me to be upset.
It's hard for Nick to be upset, and I feel physically shielded from the hatred.
I am abusing him, calling him profane names about his biscotti-shaped fingers and his tomato paste heritage. So,
oh my god! Wow. Well, that was great. Thank you. I appreciate that. So having like honestly, as ridiculous as these are, they work really well.
Self-deflectors. I made these
It's written
myself.
on there. I really wanted to get the Dragon Ball Z Scouter style meter.
The white paste wasn't going to go on the...
I know. We've got to get a sticker or something, though.
Yeah, or maybe we could, yeah.
It would look really cool. Anyways, having a physical prop to hide behind does actually help.
Yeah,
I've put the glasses on before when I'm salty and just been like, I'm checking out. I'm fucking behind these. You can't see what my eyes are doing. I'm done for the night in terms of like what I'm letting you. How upset I want you to see that I actually am.
Yeah, it can just be a nice physical round. It's like, okay, calm down.
And it's also like everyone sees them go on, and everyone has a bit of a giggle about it, and it just diffuses the situation a little bit. So like having a physical prop can, as ridiculous as it sounds, can actually be quite beneficial. From what we've seen.
And then I think there's also the point system in terms of talking about our specific saltiness, where it's like, okay, I lost the match.
Yeah.
The war isn't over.
The war isn't over, that's right.
You don't have to worry about what you walk away with at the end of the night. You kind of just go towards it at
it's
the end
nice,
of the season.
yeah, it's nice to think at a game like, oh shit, I just lost that game in a pretty horrific way, but I've still netted 5 points tonight, or 8 points. I've picked up second place and a win. So one loss isn't that big of a deal.
We have a nice little trophy at the end of the season as well, which is currently in my room. I don't know if I'll bring it. Let's see. The trophy is nice. It is kind of it's a way for it's a gesture for everyone to be happy for the winner as well, because they think about the winner had to overcome 3 people.
Yeah.
Just
assaulting
shitting on them constantly. You had to overcome counters after counter. And I think no one's ever been upset at the end of it, like, oh, I didn't win it. You should be happy the person who won.
It's always fun seeing somebody win. Yeah.
The winner is declared, the next season is happening.
Yes, exactly, yeah. That's the one thing about getting the trophy that's almost is somewhat underwhelming, is that like everybody else is hyped about the trophy, and once you win it, it's kind of like, all right, it doesn't feel as fun as like, it's like, okay, I'm gonna go for it next season more, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of, when I had it, I was just like, all right, I got the trophy, cool. And then I wasn't really thinking about it all until like really late into next season. And then I was like, oh fuck, I'm probably going to lose this trophy. Whereas now that you've got it, I'm like, I want the trophy. I want it back
on my room
from week
you
1.
You don't want to know the things I've done to this trophy.
Well, I know it's too big to fit in your butt, Nick. Physically seems impossible.
Yeah, a lot can be accomplished in 3 months.
Keep the bigger picture in mind. Mm-hmm. Keep the guys you're playing with. I'm sure a lot of you guys are playing with good friends. Keep the friendship in mind.
Yeah.
Don't let a 90-minute game potentially ruin that. This is one thing I struggle with a lot that I've talked about before. But like, try to understand the justification behind like why you may have been targeted, or why.
I think we've seen it. Yeah, someone gets really upset. They're like, specifically with other people who've played with, like, they get really upset. They're like, oh, this is, why are you doing this? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And they lose. You wipe them. Like, I'm just going to get you out. And they go, I could have won next time. And it's like, okay, well, you were being really salty, but you did have a win in right in your hand, so I was justified.
Yeah, it was justified. And even like a lot of the time, I get targeted, and to me, it doesn't seem justified. because I know what I'm holding in my hand, but nobody else does. So like I could have a handful of fire, and you guys may have seen me do a similar setup at the turn before, the game before, and you're like, I'm not going to let that happen again. And then it's like, yeah, well, you didn't have to worry, but you know, people don't have that information. So, and then the other big thing, guys, if you're salty, listen, nobody's going to hate you for apologizing.
Yeah.
If you go a little too far, or I like to say sorry after I'm salty. I'm sure no one really cares, but I still like to just be like, look, guys, I'm fucking sorry about last night. I got a little, I'm tired. Yeah. You know, because at the end of the day, like, the games are bigger than me and bigger than what I want. And ultimately they should be for everybody. Like, you know, everybody should be wanted to come back experience. And stuff. So can we, now that we kind of touched on, like, you know, how to deal with the saltiness, do you want to talk about what you were mentioning before with the season and the,
like, specifically what happened last game? Yeah,
like there was a lot of salt and juice towards the end of the game, and it had almost nothing to do with the game itself.
It was hilarious. So what happened was, I was playing Prismari. I had Wandering Archaic out. Fabian says, and we have points. We have 1 point. You get a negative point if you break or dishonor a deal.
Yeah. Season healing. Everyone love everyone.
I believe Fabian was going to kill my Wandering Archaic. I said, don't do that. You know, I'll give you a favor. It was basically a strike up of, he's like, okay, I won't kill your Wandering Archaic. And I said, okay, cool. Next, his turn, and he steals it. He steals it with a Saga.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Technically didn't kill it.
Then tried multiple times to kill it by making it attack Nick and trying to make Nick block with it to kill it. And that didn't work.
Because I'm a good guy.
And then by the end of the game, I got very salty. I grabbed it back from him. I got it back from him because his Saga ran out. I was very upset because I felt that he dishonored the deal. And I basically felt like he broke it because he took it away and was trying to kill it anyway.
Yeah.
And he did not receive a negative point.
No. So, and my main reason...
There was a lot of...
It was, let's say, it was 2 for and 2 against in terms of the argument.
Manipulating of the human English language that was being used to truly define what dishonor and breaking a deal meant.
That is not accurate.
That is completely accurate.
So let me explain.
Would you not classify that as dishonoring a deal? I need to start this. Would you not classify that as dishonoring a deal, Nick?
So this is the thing, dude. Very early on in the season,
I'm just gonna look up what dishonor means, because
it means to go against, right? Like to like
continue.
Very early on in the season, there was a very similar situation where I asked you not to kill something of mine or something like that, and you like did something else to it. I can't remember the exact things, but I specifically remember the example because it was just like I thought that thing was off limits, and you're like, yeah, I didn't do that to it. I did this, and I was like, yeah, but you still fucked me, and you're like, yeah, but you didn't say not to fuck you that way.
That's happened to me as well when you say don't kill it and they do something, they exile it or something. Or not exile, but they do something else to it. So like it had happened to me before. So I didn't like this is where the wording came in where you said to Fabian, don't kill it, and technically he never did. Yeah.
If he had swung it at me and I blocked it, technically I killed it.
Yeah, exactly.
So but it's a dirty move. It's a dirty move, but it's within
dishonorable.
It was still within the scope of the agreed upon terms of
I completely disagree, and I said that night, shouting, "Do I need to change my degrees and go into law to be able to make it? Like, do I need to have a legal list next to me and say, like, when I want a creature not to be screwed with, do I need to be like, no exile, no take control, like I could go through an endless list of different things someone could do to kill
Have you noticed what I do now?
Yeah, you make ridiculous deals
no.
that like no one says yes to because they're just outrageous.
No. I say you can never touch this.
Never ever touch me with like your main
but
piece.
like a certain like creature.
Yeah,
I'm like you can't touch this with anything. Yeah. And the reason I do that now is because you shafted me that first time, and I was like, I need to be able to say something that's very unspecific.
You're dealing in absolutes.
Yeah, because ultimately. That's how I can avoid that becoming a thing, because like killing is definitely one part of the game, but it's not all of the parts. So it's more like, to me, it's more of a thing like you should have said to Fabian, look, Fabian, I need this out to copy spells. I want it to stay here, and I don't want you to touch it. If it stays here, I'll never target you with one of the spells, as long as you don't fuck with it. And then as soon as he tried to fuck with it, then all bets are off.
Being clearer with the deals, I I understand more now, but it's also like, how much clearer do I have? Like, at what point is it going to be ridiculous being like, don't take control of it, don't try to block it, don't try to do this.
But this is the other.
Don't exile it, don't phase it.
This is the other thing where it's like, from where he was sitting, that archaic was the perfect thing for him to steal compared to everything else on the board, and it helped him the most. So he wanted to get his grubby little paws on it one way or another. No, you know what I mean? And he was looking for any way through that. And this is just one of these great examples where it's just like, emotionally, you felt wronged by what happened. Like, I guess, like, in a way, logically, I don't see anything that bad happening, kind of thing.
And then it soon became a match of, like, everyone was having a look at the points and being like, hey, I did this. And I'm like, no, it technically says you have to attack with 20 power. And everyone's like, excuse me? And then it was becoming of, like, everyone felt that, like, the wording of the points was, like, betraying them. Yes.
This is something that I like, worry about a lot when at the start of the season. I ask constantly on the Discord for people to write in.
I see no message.
To be like, hey guys, does this look alright? Are you guys happy with this? Etc. Etc. To ensure that when it comes to later on in the season, there's no like, oh, I'm not getting the points I want. You've fucked everything up. And this is like a big thing with like having good, open and honest communication with the guys you're playing with is super important, because like I've written in there, first blood is the first attack against somebody a turn. Then I attack somebody with a 0-1.
Yeah.
And then Fabian's like, well, exactly. You didn't actually draw blood.
But then technically it says attack. And on magic, it's not dealt damage, it's attack.
But at the same time, I kind of get where he's coming from.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't give myself the point for that.
Yeah.
But
then also, if I'm playing a spell slinger deck and I shock someone for 2 damage, I don't get points. Because that doesn't count.
It doesn't attack, yeah. It's one of these things where I think, like, in a perfect world, at the start of the season, you'd all sit down and agree on what each thing means.
So for next season, would we agree that would be...
Dude, if you can get Brian and Fabian in a fucking room together to actually agree on something, sure. But that just doesn't ever seem to happen. But yeah, like, I think because next season we're doing Westerns.
First to draw.
First to draw,
First
dude.
person to deal
First
damage.
one to do damage. First shots fired.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
like...
Yeah, draw.
Yeah, but like shots fired as well. Like any time like the first bit of damage done to someone, shots are fired.
Shots fired. You say first to draw, you immediately think of Western.
Okay, sure thing.
If we play cop season, I'll absolutely say shots fired.
System of a down. System of a down. So yeah, this is like ultimately, yeah. If everyone gets together and we can all agree on the way that it's written, on what the point aims to achieve, because this is the other thing. Like it was the challenge decks and the Prisma and the precon decks. I was always just thinking of it as like whoever gets the most points, and then Fabian's like, wait, isn't it most wins?
Yeah,
and it's like, well, not really, because if you win 3 times with it and you kind of get lucky, but someone else plays it every week, then surely the person that's playing it more often, who gets the most overall points, should be the one that's rewarded. Because then it's also, sit down with you guys. Make things clear. I think we know now
we need to kind of re-evaluate the text of our...
Yeah, I think we just need to be very, like, at the very start of it, be like, look, this is what the intention of this is. And it's to suit the theme, ultimately. So, yeah. But this is, like, another great way to avoid saltiness. Be fucking open and honest with your party and your team, and
Don't let it bubble up.
Yeah, exactly. The bubbling's the worst.
Just be like, I'm mad. The worst thing. I'm going to pee.
I'm going to go write an angry tweet.
And, just letting someone know, hey, it's like, oh, that really annoyed me. And maybe the next game they'll kind of...
I don't like annoying Brian.
Yeah. That seems to happen every night.
I know. Have you noticed how I attack him less directly these days than what I used to? Because he just gets so mad about it. Like he won't let the grudge go. It takes weeks for him to simmer back down again.
Next up, we got Mastering Machiavelli. A wise prince ought to never, in peaceful times, stand idle, but increase his resources with industry in such a way that they may be available to him in adversity. So when you're on top, keep building for the skies.
Or the other thing is like if people aren't swinging at you at the table, ramp.
Yeah.
Or
take the opportunity.
Yeah, don't start playing things down if they don't need to be on the table. If it's gonna, if it's a piece that's gonna like catapult you in the future, do it. A great example of this is like if you're on like say turn 5, and someone has out like a 4/4. Someone has like 2 3/3s or something like that, and the third person has like a couple of dorks, and you pretty much have nothing, and you're still on 40 health. Don't feel like you need to put a blocker down because you're not going to die to damage in the next turn. Play the Cultivate or play the Arcane Signet or something like that, and get yourself ready for when you need to, really hammer home kind of thing. Obviously, certain decks. Like your Prismari deck's a great example of this, whereas like you need to pay attention to this more than I would if I was playing an aggro deck. Yeah. Because my strategy is just to put things on the battlefield. But like, it feels like don't waste resources chasing the wrong output. I guess ultimately, and don't ever like waste time on spells that don't need to be cast. Machiavelli once again coming in strong with the
clutch.
Italian flair.
Maybe they play together, Sun Tzu and Machiavelli.
Dude, it would be like one of them. You know how they talk about great battles in history or something like that.
Rap battle.
I'd just love to see them two like play chess or something together.
Okay.
I feel like Sun Tzu, though, to be honest, is more like tactics based, whereas Machiavelli is all politics.
Okay.
I feel like it's kind of a slight disconnect in the skill sets, maybe. The good, the bad, and the ugly, dude. We're heading on to the
good.
The end.
The Gaia's Cradle, just a great card.
What?
I thought it was like that Gaia's Cradle.
We've got Hidden Gibbons for 1 for the good, and now this card it's an enchantment for 1. Whenever one of your opponents successfully casts an instant or interrupt spell, if Hidden Gibbons is an enchantment, it then becomes a 4/4 creature, 4/4 ape creature. So, dude, you put it out turn 1.
Oh yeah.
Anytime in any kind, it becomes a 4/4 creature. So, like, this is essentially one of them things where it's like that the previous quote about Machiavelli. You can put Hidden Gibbons. There's a bunch of them: Hidden Predators, Hidden Herd, all that kind of stuff. They all have different triggers. So, enchantment spell, creature spell, non-basic land. I think it is. You can put any of these guys down early and just have them sit there. And they will magically turn into a 4/4 at some point in the game for 1 mana. Okay. It's just one of them things where it's like it's money for nothing in a sense. Yeah. They're not the most powerful cards. They don't have any abilities. Yeah. But a 4/4 body for 1 is definitely nothing to scoff at.
1.
Yeah. And like this is a great thing. Like in a standard game, you might be running against decks that don't have don't have instants or sorceries, or not very many, but at a table with 4 people, the odds of seeing them are pretty, so any Fast Seek or Rampant Growth or anything like that, or Cultivate, it's gonna set it off essentially. They instants? I'm pretty sure they're instants. The bad
Mangara of Corendor, legendary creature, human wizard for a 1, a white and a white. Tap, exile Mangara of Corendor and target permanent. So you exile him and a target permanent. What a terrible card.
This is a card that when I first saw it, I was like, great. It's a nuclear deterrent. You can put it on the field and then people have to think twice about what they're going to play.
But this is what actually can happen. There's a threat on the board. You need to get rid of it. You have to pay 3 mana. Wait an entire turn and then get rid of it if it survives.
That's the reality of it.
Because the reality is also because if it had Shroud or Hexproof, boom,
or Haste. Yeah,
I feel like Shroud would be better. That way it truly is a nuclear deterrent. It's on and you're not getting rid of it.
Yeah, that's true.
It would make it better early game, but this is when you're gonna need it. When it's late game, mid game, it's too late.
Yeah,
waiting.
This is
and people could just zap it. Boom,
So this is this is the other thing. Like obviously in mono white, I think the cheapest exile target permanent mono white is 5 or 6 mana.
What's that for?
For exile target permanent.
Oh, wait, no, isn't there Path to Dust or whatever the one? Oh,
So it'll do creatures.
Okay,
There's Swords to Plowshares and there's Path to Exile.
Yeah.
So it'll do. So this is target permanent. You can remove anything.
Land,
But yeah, like why wouldn't you? Like a lot of the time, what's the threat going to be? It's going to be an artifact, an enchantment, or a creature. So at that point, it's like this can do any of them, but Swords to Plowshare can do half of it, and Path to Exile can do the other half. Essentially, they both cost 1. They're both at instant speed.
Yeah, it's just a terrible card.
Yeah, this thing, I just I fell into the trap of using it, and then just slowly realizing that it's just a fucking waste of space.
Next
and then
up,
ugly. This card, I don't know. It's not necessarily ugly, but compared to the standards of art today,
I think it's definitely ugly.
It's definitely aged quite a bit. Angelic Voices. It's a old time spiral original card. 2 and 2 white for an enchantment. Creatures you control get +1/+1 as long as there is no as long as you control no non-artifact non-white creatures. Super specific. So
let's not talk about how
retarded
weird
the text is.
So this
the art's just a little.
It looks like it's gonna be. It looks like it's almost like some 7th edition, 6th edition, 8th edition cool art, right?
But it's not.
But it fails.
Yeah,
it just looks so.
It's kind of one of them cards where like I feel like if you gave me a couple of weeks of practicing, I'd churn that out.
Yeah, like I just don't know what's going on.
And I'm not an artist.
Don't want to shit on the artist. Julie Barrow, but what's going on?
You've probably got better since then, Julie, and I'm sure you'd probably agree with us, maybe.
Yeah, so it's kind of janky kind of art.
It's a bit of a janky card, and the art's kind of a bit meh.
What do I draw for this art? Oh, okay, this card's gonna suck.
Just give us whatever you got.
Whatever you got laying around.
And I think that's it for
Wraps
this week.
For tonight.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out. Send us suggestions. We're kind of starting to approach the end of the kind of main topics I had envisioned when we started this. So when it comes to kind of main topics from moving forward,
so it's going to get weird from here on out.
Yeah, might have to really kind of think outside the box. The other hard thing is obviously you don't want to be covering stuff that other people cover.
We're not going to rehash, and we're not deck builders, we're not CEDH players, we're not going to research every card. We're not going to talk about the most amazing synergies. There are other channels that already do that.
Yeah, and they're better than us. They understand it better than us, and they're kind of more live and breathe the game. So we kind of want to cover the more social and casual budget aspects of that. So if you guys think of anything that you'd like to hear us talk about or whatever, let us know. But yeah,
I think this camera's wonky.
You're wonky donkey.
It probably is. This camera's wonky, or I have scoliosis. I don't know.
We'll get the little tape measure out, measure the pixels for the shelf.
This is normal. And then if I do that, my head's straight. Whatever. See you guys. 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. We'll be on for Q&A.
We'll be on for Q&A for half an hour
until Brian and Fabian rock up for the night, and then we'll be straight into games.
Yeah.
Next season. Because this will come out in the break of...
this will come out...
The break.
Just after our finals.
Yeah. So, next season, Cowboys. Western.
We will be fully donned in attire.
Guchos.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to... I'm excited for the theme points, because, like, the Wild West shootouts, duels...
we're all very excited.
Could be kind of fun.
It's going to be on point.
Yeah.
Ponchos all around. It'll be winter for us as well, so...
I'm going to have all the windows open.
Fuck.
Because although it's horrible for the sound, I'm sweating in a singlet as it is. So wearing a shirt, a vest, and a poncho, it's going to be sweating up a storm.
In winter.
Yeah, dude. It's winter in Australia. It doesn't really count as winter.
It's like 16 degrees and I'm dying.
But yeah, thanks for tuning in.
See you guys later.
Around.